Check baby 1 2.
Check
Three.
1 2. Check 1 2. Too loud. Hey, oh hey.
Hey, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and the guys are all here. Hello, Cameron. How are you?
Hi, Sybil. Hey, what's up, Med? Hi, Damon. I'm doing well.
Good, Mid.
I'm here.
And Mr. Red, Black, and Green. How you doing?
Hey man, I'm going through it, Sybil. The cicadas have taken over my entire backyard.
Yes,
No, you guys are
I tried to
cicadas.
warn you.
they're
Yes.
getting it in.
Yeah.
So what is that like? I don't remember. I remember the cicadas when I was a kid, but I don't remember it being as much as people are saying it is now.
It's not like it was when we were kids.
Right.
I got like about 40 or 50 of them on the trees. I got them on my fence. Anywhere I got wood back there. So I had to take the leaf blower and blow the shells away. You
Right.
know. Yeah. But then my wife don't want to be nowhere near back there, even with the shells or the bugs. Plus the dogs try to eat them. So
Right. Right.
yeah. So it's rough.
It's
Did
something.
I
the
hope it's
cicadas invite you to the party?
Got a big
my
old
question,
orgy going
Cam.
on in your backyard.
My question, Cam, is how long is this cicada season? Do we know how long that's supposed to last?
It doesn't
A
last
week.
long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I can get my patio furniture out of my cart then.
Yeah.
I placed that order. I left it on hold. I'm like, nope, not gonna be back there.
I don't know if it'll. Cameron, do you think by Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah. It seems like they're like popping up in like waves across the city,
Uh-huh.
but they don't live any longer than a week. And then like the normal emergence is supposed to happen later on this
The
summer.
13-year-olds
Yeah.
and the 7 versus the 17-year-olds, right?
Great,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. They've been waiting a long time to meet each other out there.
Yeah.
So they're very
17 years
yeah.
buried underground so they
Like
can wake
like
up
a lot of young men. Yeah.
and have sex
Yeah. Yeah.
and die.
And then die.
Yeah.
They're so dramatic.
They are, yeah.
Cicadas.
But what a way to go, huh, fellas?
Out with a bang, baby. In and out with a bang.
More like a crunch.
I
Ew.
know
Oh my
it's
God.
bad back
They
there.
have made a lifestyle out of cicadas. Have you seen them where they're like cicada recipes and what to do with the
Good.
shells and how to
Good.
eat the live
Yeah.
cicadas?
Good.
People are eating lives, and then
Yeah.
followed by
Um,
an adult beverage, a shot.
what?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's cute when somebody else is doing it, but when they around your house, it's
Right.
weird.
And your wife is like, nope, I'm not, nope, not going near it, not, no, it's all yours.
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah,
over
no thanks.
soon. It'll be over soon.
Ugh.
And then in another 17 years, you'll be like, I don't remember the cicadas, but it was
I hope
hell.
I pray to God to see the next 17-year cicada situation. Yeah. I
Yeah,
can't
for
wait till the
sure.
next round.
For sure.
Right.
At
And tell
this
them what it
age.
was like. Tell them about the struggle, Cameron.
Yeah, by then he can remind me of what I went through. He's like,
Maybe next time the cicadas will ask you to open for them, Damon.
yeah, something.
You all want to make too
Man.
much noise? Come on down to Riddle. Well, I'm glad everybody's here. I'm sorry that you're being overwhelmed by the cicadas, but like Cameron says, they shall not tarry. It won't be long.
Okay.
But let us talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter, which is cicada free, by the way.
Ah,
Or is it, Ned?
no, very much so. It's
Okay.
cicada free.
Okay.
And free?
And
99.
free. This is our newsletter that we put out Monday through Friday, in which we seek to super serve the African American community with our stories and how it applies to you and your lives. Cameron Riley is our political writer, and he wrote about the 70th anniversary of the landmark Supreme Court decision of Brown versus the Board of Education, and kind of breaks down where we are today and as a result of some studies that have been conducted. Where are we, Khameron? And give us a little background on that incredible landmark decision that changed so many lives.
Yes, we all know the great story of the courageous Ruby Bridges. She was the only Black person, the only Black girl who was escorted by the National Guard to attend school, braving through violence, potential violence, marking the decision to ban segregation across schools in Brown versus Board of Education. That was 70 years ago. 70 years. And now various studies, nationwide studies, are showing that segregation is taking a much more different shape across schools to this day. And while there are virtually no exclusive white schools in existence across the country, there is still an inequitable distribution of resources, especially in predominantly Black schools. And it's not a coincidence that schools that are mostly Black, upwards of 70% or so, do not have the same resources as a school with very few Black students. And that's what we're seeing across the entire nation. It's more of like an economic segregation, less a racial segregation. It's more of a segregation by circumstance. A lot of Black families enroll their kids into their neighborhood school because of the convenience, because they know the community there, they know the people there. That school is very under-resourced. I found myself asking that going to a school with mostly Black people isn't a bad thing. It shouldn't be a bad thing. And like, parents shouldn't be punished. The student's future shouldn't be ruined for going to a school with mostly Black people. But it's clear that the system and the powers that be are not investing in schools with predominantly Black students. And so that's where I'm a little transfixed, so to speak.
What has always bothered me about this, Khameron, this is something that's been bothering me for a very long time, ever since I saw Oprah do that special
with the Ruby Bridges episode.
I don't know. Was it that? I don't know I just remember having the white kids go to the Black school and the Black kids go to the white school, and the schools were literally like 5 miles apart. And it was just like the Black school had no water in the swimming pool. The classes were like the honors classes were very easy. The Black girl who was in the honor classes in the Black school went to the white school. She's like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
It's completely different. And it all comes down to what your tax bracket, basically. And I'm sitting here just like, and you've seen the Chicago public school system, and it's similar in a lot of major cities. It's like these folks don't have enough for books, heat in the building. It's like there should, if it's a public school in this country, there should be some basic things that are like every school in the country should have. Point blank, right? Period. And for some reason, they don't. I'm like, do I understand if you are in a higher tax bracket where the people make more, like exorbitant amount, much more money, that you will have extra things? Cool, that's fine. But books
and current books, heat, AC, you know what I'm saying? Right. Water in the pool. That's like basic. No lead in the pipes.
No lead in the pipes. You can drink from the water fountain. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like the basic basic necessities that schools should have, that should be across the board, all across the country, and not schools battling for it. And now that the charter schools are coming in, kids are getting placed everywhere, and of course, it looks segregated. You're right, Khameron, because I was a token Black kid at a white high school out in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? So it was, I didn't know, I didn't see it until we actually were in school, like tournaments, went to the city schools. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I will never forget going to a city tournament, with the basketball team and looking around at one of the schools that we were at. And I'm just like, the hell? Like, what? Like, this looks crazy to me. This is one of the biggest basketball programs in the state, and I'm like, and the school looks like this.
Right.
And I remember them coming out to Schaumburg and saying, "Hey, man, look, the water fountain working." And I'm like, "Oh God!" But that's what we're dealing with. It's insane to me. It's insane. It's only gotten worse.
And it shouldn't be as inequitable. We know that the tax base dictates it, but what about all these millions and billions of dollars that we see in the lottery, which is what the lottery was supposed to be, to help supplement and fund school resources? So I would think that the schools with the least amount of resources should get the most kick in from the lottery, because we know that the lottery is out of control now as far as these astronomical prizes, and nobody takes the lump sum. So, or they take the lump sum or whatever, and they get shorted. So, you know, it's all a sham, and it's by design. It goes with the redlining that went back decades ago, and it continues to, you know, tear up our school system and our kids. It's terrible.
And one of the stories I'm sorry, go ahead, Khameron.
I was going to say some of my some of my friends that are like parents now, who are like looking into schools. I mean, it puts so much stress on their lives to try and find like a quality education. And you know what even is like a quality education these days, when you can't get it from your local public school, when you have to pay upwards of $10,000 to put your kid in a private school, but you have to run around the entire city to get them where it is that they need to go. It's just not helpful for the parents, and it's definitely not helpful for the student either. I mean, the experts in the study attribute it to like a selective enrollment. They also attribute it to a lot of school systems being so top heavy with all these different positions getting paid these exorbitant amount of salaries. I'm just wondering, is it time that we just start investing in our own schools, creating our own schools again, because whatever we have going on out here is just not working out.
I was listening to, I think it was a podcast recently talking about the charter schools in Chicago, like Urban Prep, that have closed. And Urban Prep was a 100% success story. You know, every young man that graduated from this school, and Black young men, were going on to college. They were college bound and 100% acceptance. They were going to college. And that school, why did it have to close? I don't know. And I don't know where I stand on the charter school and public school situation. I just know that even as early as when my mom was a public school teacher, there was talk about charter schools, and she was explaining to me how this would affect the public school system. But they're not doing anything to, in that many years ago, having that conversation, they're not doing anything to improve the situation. And Chicago is not alone.
No.
Yeah.
No. But I can't say this because talking to, hearing Damon talking about the lottery, I came down here to Georgia my senior year in high school, and the Hope Scholarship was a beautiful thing. I was like, why doesn't every state do this? Where if you have a 3.0 GPA, graduating from high school, your tuition at a in-state school, that tuition is paid for. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you keep that 3.0 GPA, your tuition is paid for. Now, my GPA, I had to stretch it out a little bit by, I don't know, staying a freshman for a little bit longer than a year. Dropped the course, didn't get, I'm like, oh, let me stay down and get another semester for free. A friend of mine actually went all 4 years, didn't pay a dime because she kept it 3.0 or higher. Wow. But I never understood why no other state did that, because I was like, that Hope Scholarship was amazing.
And you would think that a governor like the Pritzker would do that in the state of Illinois. That would Democratic governors that would seem to work for them, or at least you've got how many great colleges and universities in the state of Illinois.
Yep.
And should be able to do that. I know Yolanda's nephew did the same thing and went down to Georgia his senior year.
And like I said, I was only there for 1 year, and I was able to take part of the Hope Scholarship, and like I said, I took advantage of it for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Education, I mean, and 70 years post Brown versus Board, we're discovering that we thought that education was a human right, and it's quickly becoming a commodity.
A commodity is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. And shame on us for not fulfilling the dream of that, the lives of those people who put their lives on the line for this, for children,
Oh, yeah.
Black children, to be able to go to the schools of their choice. Was it Lucy Bates? Was it Miss Bates or Daisy in the Little Rock Nine? And getting those kids into a school where the facilities were better, the educational opportunities were greater, and we failed. We failed.
Yeah, but I mean, when you get toward like higher education, the landscape doesn't look that much better. But there are like early childhood educations that's like Black-owned freedom schools that are popping up, independent of the public school system. Likewise, there are new teachers coming in, people who feel called to be educators every day, that understand that education should be a human right. So while this is the state of affairs now, I have no doubt that the next great change maker for the landscape of education is on their way.
I pray that you're right, Khameron, because I think about what was on its way to happening during the Trump administration, where he put a woman,
Betsy.
Yeah, Betsy. I can't even remember her last name, but DeVos. Thank you. And she was on her way to destroying the Department of Education.
Yeah.
And it seems like that is every cycle it changes depending upon who comes into the White House, but they really don't give a damn, and they want to put it in the states, make it a state situation, and that doesn't seem to work either. I don't know.
It is an ongoing mess, in my opinion, when it comes to the haves and the have-nots, and when it comes to education in this country.
Do you think about this, Med, when you guys are looking for a place to live in Atlanta and in terms of the schools that are available for?
Look here, man. When it comes to Atlanta, you better go private.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, if you're looking for quality, I have my cousins are moving down here from Virginia, and they came down, took a look around, and I'm like, yeah. The Youth Academy of Christian Society, we're gonna put them in there. You know what I'm saying? $700 a month. You know what I'm saying? Per child.
Yeah.
Like both the cousins that moved from New York and from Virginia, both their children are in private schools. And for Blake, he had got accepted into a school that was very highly regarded. You know what I'm saying? But it was actually we actually moved and got out of that system, but it was one of those schools where it's basically a private school, but you don't pay anything. You know what I'm saying? You get chosen in a lottery.
Right.
So, you have to either find those kind of schools or private schools, because when it comes to just the education system down here in Georgia, it's really low. And when it comes to African Americans, they usually have to put their kids in one of those academies that have to, and Georgia has some great, they have some great academies when it comes to education, but it's like, the haves and have-nots.
Wow.
And what people need to think about is, of course, it's hard to afford school, and you would think that is a right and a privilege, but you're investing in your child to the point where you won't have to pay for college if you do it properly, and they excel academically. Then you're really paying for college in advance if you pay for private elementary and early schooling when it works out that way. I know that's how it worked out for us. So I know people might say, well, I shouldn't have to spend that money now, but if you plan on paying for college, you're going to spend money at some point.
Right.
So you might want to try to invest in your child young so that they can get lots of discounts for college.
That's a good point. Those are the types of stories that we talk about in the What You Need to Know newsletter, and in this, the observance of the 70th year since Brown versus the Board of Education. Also, in the newsletter, I had a lot of fun with this one in that the former mayor of New York City, Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani, was celebrating his 80th birthday, which is coming this weekend. Was he was really kind of cocky about the fact that the state of Arizona had not issued papers, and he was being indicted for his role with the fake electors in the Arizona elections, which were an effort to deny Joe Biden the presidency. And so he's like, they only have another 24 hours. They'll never find me. And then he goes and they live stream the party. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? And then, they're partying, happy birthday, 80 years old. Oh, here's some cake and dancing girls. And the next thing you know, he's walking out and the Arizona people are like, Mr. Giuliani, you've been served.
One thing you don't do when you're trying to hide is send out invitations to your whereabouts.
I think he's so beyond social media. He doesn't get it, and nobody bothered to tell him this is not a good idea. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, Sybil, I was at the Tyrese concert down here in Georgia, and yeah, he hopped off the stage because someone was trying to serve him. So he ended that concert real quick.
All
right, y'all, I love y'all.
Oh yeah.
And he went up the stairs through the auditorium. He didn't even go backstage.
No, he was in the parking lot. He was out.
Wow. Ahmed told me stories about the old school musicians, and they were being served for child support, and and they didn't have the presence of mind, a lot like Rudy Giuliani, and they came off stage, and the person was there to serve them and them and them and them and them.
Whole band.
Yeah. Child support or taxes.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. Absolutely. So please go to SybilWilkes.com, give us your name and your email address, and we'll have these stories and have the newsletters in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. And by the way, Rudy Giuliani was in court for the Arizona case today. Happy birthday. Let's talk about what's really going on and our question of the day. And this is something that had a profound effect on me on Friday with the release of the video of Diddy and beating the living daylights out of his girlfriend at the time, Cassie, in a hotel in Los Angeles. And it really took me to a very, very dark place and made me very sad, obviously. But then to see his comeback video and to apologize and not even mention the young woman's name, as if so. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. And Khameron, you mentioned something that you were involved in. If you want to talk about that, but I'd like to get your thoughts on first the video that was released on Friday and the video that was released on Sunday, which was Diddy's apology video.
We on the Morning Hustle have talked about this.
I bet
the last couple of days, and very strong opinions on it. There's only one opinion on it. It is that Diddy's trash, man. At the very end of the day, and the thing is, we've had people speak on him and be warned about this for years, and I think what people were fearful of him, fearful of the power he had, and kept quiet. The fact that man put out a tweet or a post in December talking about the lies and everything about, and how the truth will come out. Well, the truth came out.
Yeah, it came.
The truth came out. Cassie was not lying. You are that man that
well, that's giving men a bad name.
That did those things. Now the apology I thought was, I don't know who's advising him. He should have just shut up and just.
That was my question too.
I was like, "What are you doing?" Because first of all, he's not allowed to say her name. Like, they're not allowed to say each other's name at all. There's some kind of NDA. They can't talk.
Right.
Yeah, Janet, they can't.
So even on his part, he can't say her name.
He can't say her name. But if I'm him, I would say her. I want to apologize to her.
Right.
But then, you know what, Diddy? How about apologizing to your daughters?
That's what I was thinking.
How
Yeah.
about apologizing to your mother? You know what I'm saying? Because you know, if anybody asked you, would you want your daughters to be with a man like you? What would you say? You know, because knowing what you know about yourself, you know, how would you feel about that? Your daughters went to prom shortly
Just a
thereafter.
couple of weeks ago.
No, or graduation, whatever. They were at a public event at their school just after this.
Oh,
and I'm
right,
like,
right,
and
right.
I'm like, how would you feel if the guys taking them out did that to them?
Yeah.
You know, it's like these are the things that we don't think about. But he didn't apologize to anybody. He just said, "I'm sorry. I don't look for forgiveness." No, because you don't care about forgiveness.
I've been in rehab and all that.
No, he hasn't. Let's stop.
Well,
That whole thing was a farce. Again, he looked like he was out there with Russell Simmons in Bali. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get off the camera. Just stay away. Don't say anything, because there's nothing you're going to say that makes anything better. And the fact that you don't apologize to anybody specifically doesn't help.
Right. And that list is growing.
It's growing. And now the bodyguards coming to talk.
Mm-hmm.
The assistants are talking. His what is his other baby mama, Nisa, she's talking. You know, it's like now the floodgates are open. All the NDAs are out the door for some reason, because now everyone talking and feeling very comfortable dragging you down to hell.
Yeah. Where you belong. What about you, Damon?
As he stated when he said that he couldn't mention her name. At first, I was saying, apologize to her. There is no coming back from this. There is no apology. Like you said, he might as well kept it quiet, because no matter how remorseful he is, the actions that he did, that we've seen, will be indelibly embedded in our memory, and that's who he is. So financially, he should suffer. He should be a social pariah, and unfortunately, the statute of limitations is up, because he should actually be taken to jail somewhere where some brothers can straighten him out. Because anybody with a sister or a mother or aunt or a niece really want to get at that dude, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does anyway.
Khameron, you are a young man raised in a family full of strong women by a strong woman. What were your thoughts and feelings when you saw this?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, good. Okay.
I didn't. Just like out of respect to Cassie. I just didn't feel like it was necessary. I'm sure it was absolutely awful. I just hope that she's very well taken care of amongst all of this.
So not monetarily, but her mindset is
This
really
is getting played over and over and over again for everyone to see. She's literally going through this again.
And to think that he would be that comfortable doing something like that in a public place. There's no telling what's happened in the mansion and behind closed doors.
And not having to pay $50,000 to get the tape back, which obviously was a waste of money.
Well, they're saying that allegedly from the raid, the tapes are from the raids.
Oh yeah.
The police had it, got it during the raids of his homes, and that's how it got released.
So his dumb ass bought the tape and kept it.
Right. That's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah. I'm just disappointed to see him characterize it as an isolated incident.
That's impossible.
Knows.
Yeah,
that's impossible.
Because everybody knows that he doesn't have an ounce of remorse for anything that he's done. I have been in just like really heated arguments with girlfriends. I can only where like things reach that inflection point, but even still, no, I can only recall like twice, once in high school, once in college, but where like things reach an inflection point, and that's when you know that like that there's just like no going back from that.
Right.
But even still, like both parties know that, hey, like we're not our best selves right now. When it comes to someone like Sean Diddy Combs, like I hesitate to even call him a human being at this point. because his behavior has went unchecked for so long. He's been so just like mad with power for so long. I doubt he even has like an ounce of remorse in him. But for like the average human being who you get into it with a loved one and both of you are just like taking it there and taking it there. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But yeah, for someone like Diddy, I can't even begin to even think that he has any remorse in him at all.
But our better angels have to take control of us, both as women and as men.
Yeah.
You know, when Chris Brown and Rihanna went through this, and I remember saying that, you know, and she was allegedly giving him as good as she got. That's what the word was. And I was like, well, if that is the case, they both need help. And I'm not sure that they did get help. But my concern for the Cassies of the world, and I've been told that I'm very naive in this way, but I think that we have a responsibility to help these young girls who feel as though they have to be in this situation, as though in order to survive, and allow this horrific treatment because somebody is taking care of them. And I was raised by a woman who was told by her father, I will give you the best education my money can buy because I won't always be here to take care of you. And every man that comes along will not do as I did. And so you have to be able to take care of yourself. And my mother passed that on to me. I don't understand having to be responsible for, or holding someone responsible for my happiness and a roof over my head. That's just foreign to me. But Khameron, I want to talk because there are so many people of varying ages, as old as I am and as young as you are, and maybe even younger, who want to be taken care of, and they're willing to put their bodies and their lives on the line in order for someone to do that.
Yeah, and like that's where I find a little confusion. I've spoken to a couple people who would say, yeah, I would rather, just like get beat every day than have someone like mentally and emotionally manipulate me. And I'm just like, okay. And then they explained it to me and said that type of psychological conditioning can take years to undo, but you can heal from a bruise in a week. And I was like, okay, I can see that. But I wonder then, and I feel like that like substance abuse also comes into play as well. That the power that we feel over another really comes into play as well. And then also we can't deny a person's own agency. From what I was understanding, at least from what people described to me, Cassie was walking away. She was trying to get away. And then that's when Diddy attacked her there. What?
And there may have been other attempts to do that.
Oh,
we just
yeah,
don't have the video.
Were.
We don't see the video of where.
And then there are personality types that are created, I would say, not just women, but who have been damaged and their esteem has been battered throughout their lives, that they even get to the point where they enjoy being physically abused because they think that that's the way you show love to the person. And so that's
they
psychological.
They deserve better. Yeah,
exactly, psychologically. But let me say, in counter to what you said, Sybil, if in fact anything happens with my wife and I where we're not together again or anymore, I will wholeheartedly surrender all my bills to any woman out there who wants to take care of me, and I will live under her conditions. She can slap me around a little bit. I ain't never had nobody never take care of me my whole life. So if there's any type of sugar mama out there that's just looking, you dig, after something happens, I will Stedman Graham my ass to your house immediately.
Yeah, a little love tap every now and then.
Look, I can say this, and I've been kind of looking at the comments as they've been kind of going by, and people having the same kind of confusion of why stay and things like that. And I've gotten to the point now where I don't ask that question anymore, because it feels like an easy question. Because for us, if it was me, you know what I'm saying. But the thing is, I don't think we understand how young Cassie was when she started this relationship with Diddy. She was like 19, 20 when she started this thing with Diddy. And, you know, the amount of power and the stuff that he allegedly did, not just to her, but the people that even talked to her. Like Kid Cudi, you know, there's that rumor of
the explosion of the car.
The explosion of the car because he was talking to Cassie. You know what I'm saying? That like this man put fear into other people. Like, man, if you touch her, talk to her, try to help her, things will happen to you. You know, he obviously we've seen him beat her, and so you know, all their, like you said, mental manipulation was probably going on as well. You know, drugs. Yeah. She reported that, you know, this man was filling her up with drugs, sexual abuse. You know, if you read that the complaint or read that what was it called, the thing in September when the accusations came out
with
from
the
Cassie,
lawsuit that was filed.
Read that. You know what I'm saying? Roger Bond, her Diddy security. You know, people were coming at him like, why didn't he do anything? And she said he was like the one person trying to help her. You know what I'm saying? Roger Bond talked about the situation with Kim. And how, you know, Kim, like Sybil, like Kim was one of those that gave it as good as she got it. And she threatened, she's like, look, you know, how are you about to explain to the media the scratch you can have on your face if you touch me again?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what, you know, Diddy is a small human being, very small human being. And his ego and his narcissism and the success that he had, you know, it was all he had. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, inside, he was a small human being that
and having a lavish lifestyle is also very addictive. For instance, a lot of times when people are drug dealers, they don't quit the game when they should because they get so caught up in that. So if you come out at 18, 19 and, you know, you're shopping at the high-end stores, you're in private jets, that's very addicting. And so, you know, for those who ask, why would you stay? You have to put yourself in a teenager's shoes, and then where do you go from there? Like, what is her escape? What is her exit strategy when she hasn't learned life skills or survival skills other than this man plying her with all of these luxury situations? So, you know, you can't blame the victim. Just thank God she got out of it and she got compensated, and this tape came out. So now he is the pariah that he is.
And I hope that she does get the help that she needs. You know, like Chris Rock used to joke. He said, "My job with my daughters is to keep them off the pole." Ha 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 ha. But that's real. That's real to introduce them to a lifestyle. They don't need anyone else to provide for them. They have the skills. They have their dad or whoever to provide them for this. But we're run out of time. I'm sorry, Yolanda. Yeah. Let's move to trending topics. And Damon, let's talk about where you're going. What you got coming up?
This weekend is going to be great. Friday, my cousin Tiara, who is a social phenom comedian, she'll be at Riddles all weekend. I'll be there Friday. Saturday, I will be with Frankie Beverly and Mays and the OJs in New Orleans.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then Sunday, I'm popping out to St. Louis to do something with the St. Lunatics, who are Nelly's squad. Yeah. They have a comedy night as well, Sunday at Helium. So it's going to be a busy weekend.
So is that at the Jazz Festival or is that another concert?
No, it's just the farewell run for Frankie. And so I have 3 dates with them. This one, and then on the 14th in DC, 14th of June, 22nd, back in St. Louis.
Nice. Oh, yep. Enjoy yourself.
Oh, I don't even have my white ready. I'm glad we had this conversation.
Right. You get that together. Right.
You got to have your white. It's Frankie.
Yeah. Right. Cameron, what do you have going on?
Oh, geez. This weekend, I'm just taking a very much needed break. It's just been a lot of scramble this week. So looking forward to doing nothing this weekend.
Well, hopefully you will have that opportunity over the long holiday weekend. I wish you luck with that.
I hope so. Yeah.
And Mr. Gordon?
I wasn't here last week, so let me catch you up real quick. Blake turned 9. Blake got his black belt. He passed the test.
Nice. Congratulations.
Man, look here. Let me tell you about this black belt, okay? You know, my son wasn't really focusing. Technique was kind of sloppy. So his teacher, who loves him to death, Miss Pascal, said he might need to wait until 6 more months before he takes the black belt exam because I don't want him to see him fail and da 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 da. I was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? So on test day, I was asleep. I was on the ground. I was asleep, knocked out. And I just feel this. I look up and I'm like, it's Blake. Hey, it's time to go to the test. I'm like, huh? He was all dressed, ready to go. Now my wife comes down. He said he wanted to take the test. I'm like, I thought they said. He's like, no, I'm gonna pass it. I'm like, well, y'all go ahead because I'm not gonna see that, and be part of that. Da, 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 da. Because he had not trained and practiced like he's supposed to. So I go to the gym, leave the gym, and it's right by my gym. So I call her, and they're like, yeah, they're about to, finish up, and the judges are about to come out. So I went there for the end. He, hugged me. I'm like, hey, man, whatever happens today, I'm proud of you. Yes, I thought my son was going to fail, okay? So I'm sitting there. They're going through the whole thing. They're like, some people didn't pass. I'm like, here we go. Just get ready to hug him when he gets over here. And they named the 2 kids that didn't pass, and one of them wasn't my son's name. My wife looked at me and nudged me. I'm like, yeah, I saw that. Dang, and my son looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, wow. You proved me wrong.
And it's nothing worse than hearing you cheer for when you hear the failure kids. And so you're like, yes, not my fault. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, you're a loser kid. Yes.
My kid's not a loser with yours.
I had to sit back and just stay real calm. I was like, woo. Because, like, my son was so focused. Like, he told me, no, I'm going to get it. I'm like, oh, man, you don't even focus this whole time. What are you talking about?
Has he ever exhibited that before? Like,
no.
I got this?
Not if he's not going to play outside. Like, hey, can I go do what I want to do? But, like, training and practicing for this, like, he just wasn't into it. But it's like, that man, that boy came out there and said, I'm going to do it. And he did it. And I was just like, even his teacher, Miss Pascal, who told him not to take the test, she said, I have never seen him like that before. All the judges were like, oh, wow. Okay. And it was just, I was sitting there like, well, guess what you've done? You've shown me what you can do. Okay. Now that means whenever. Okay. Yeah. All that means now is, you can't, oh, no.
Right. Sure you can.
Can't is not in your vocabulary,
ain't
sir.
In it. Ain't in it. Wow. That's a great story. That's a great story. Guys, it's election day in Georgia.
Oh boy.
Oregon, Kentucky, and Idaho. All right. Yes. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, they sell those at the Quick Trip.
I actually took my dad because my dad was saying he needs to go vote. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Let's go vote. There ain't no lines. Let's go do this.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
So the 4 states voting today in critical 2024 primaries, implications of former President Donald Trump, election interference case, and several competitive and potentially decisive House races that could shape the balance of power in Congress. 2 major players indicted alongside Donald Trump in the Georgia criminal cases will be on the local Fulton County ballot on Tuesday, and results of the races could put further strain on the already crowded legal proceedings. I saw an interview with Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis last night, and she was ready to do battle, and is, I can't tell if she's more angry and focused on fighting what is now before her, which is the state Supreme Court looking at her case and whether they should make a decision on it. They have not given any information thus far. But it'll be interesting to see. And it'll be interesting to see what the result is of the Democratic primary in the congressional district where Marjorie Taylor Greene is. People have run races, but, this that happened last week between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett, I don't know if it put some fire under Democrats or what, but it'll be interesting to see who they elect to go up against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Will it just be a token candidate, or will it be somebody with some money and some purpose in giving her a run for her money? And so,
I've been talking about her, and that I just because that area she's in,
it's all her.
That's her. You know, like them people, like all this stuff we call crazy, and she is their hero. Up there in the northern parts of Georgia. I was like, she ain't going nowhere. I'm like, she about to be a lifer. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it. I'm like, you can call her crazy, you can call her whatever you want. She's not going anywhere.
Right.
She's like how Jesse Jackson Jr. was in Chicago. Unless she comes up with something to take her own self out.
Right.
She gonna be there.
She's like, you're right. Unless she does something really ridiculous and gets herself put in jail, she's gonna be that bad. You know what? For a long time.
I do have a question though. I voted today, like I said, and I was really confused by one of the questions that was on there about prisoners and making slavery illegal. I was very confused.
I heard about that.
I literally said, what? I was like, what is this? Prisoners and like making slavery involuntary servitude. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to say I didn't.
So you weren't even like. Do I
didn't even know if I was supposed to say yes or no on that. I'm like, the way they pose the question, I'm sitting here like, so am I saying prisoners shouldn't work if they're what? And if
so there was no campaign. There was no campaign to say vote yes.
I didn't see it. I just know that thing popped up on me. I didn't know what the heck I was looking at. Wow. I was like, what's the slavery question? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like,
I gotta tell you, I've seen that in a couple of states, and I've not seen any campaigns either, but it's not been in a state where I've lived that I would put it past Texas to do that. But they will normally say this is what this means. And if you are in favor of it, you should vote. If you see this as a ridiculous option, then you vote.
The wording of it was so confusing.
Right.
It was almost like
they do that. Yeah.
It's like it's almost like, well, if I say no, because no, I don't want slavery, but what does that mean about the people in prison? I'm very confused. I don't know what y'all asking me here. So that was a very weird. It was I can't. I wish I could take a picture of it. I don't know what the heck.
You might have got in trouble for taking a picture of it.
Right, exactly. But it was just a very weird worded question that had indentured servitude and slavery in there. I'm like, do you want it or not? And I'm like, wait a minute, no.
Do you believe that yes, no slavery should be a thing? If so, say yes or no.
Man, I wanted to raise my hand. Hey, can I get some help over here with this?
Right.
Can y'all help me with this? I don't know what this is.
That is crazy. We should keep an eye on that, Ned, and not only the outcome, but to find out who's behind those, because usually in some of the news reports that come out, they will tell you this organization is in favor, this organization is fighting this. And also, one of the other things that I was talking to somebody in Georgia and was looking for some help in finding out the recommendations for judges, because we don't talk about that enough. And it varies from city to city, county to county, state to state. And so, we can't say you just go to this website and everybody can find out, the judges that are recommended. But that is something that we need to do, and perhaps at least point people in the right direction where they just need some help.
Yeah. And I'm looking at some of the comments right now. I was supposed to say yes, a rejection of involuntary servitude and enslavement of prisoners. And I was like, okay. I mean, but they're not slaves, but they're in prison. I was like, okay. I don't like, if I said no, do they all get set? I'm like, I don't know.
Was the ballot measure to clarify the language of what incarceration is? Was that what? Because I'm having a lot of trouble finding the ballot measure online. I can't even find it.
I can't find it either.
That's what I was trying to find that when we were talking about it. I'm gonna copy one of y'all. So basically saying, thank you, Brenda. Prisoners are considered slaves, and I'm just like, I don't want them to be considered slaves, but okay.
Wow.
I was out here just, I was
Wow.
struggling. I was struggling.
No, you're a smart man, but it is sometimes it's just a little overwhelming to get to the bottom of those. It just is, and they purposely, put the question in the form, put the answer in the form of a question, or or just a confusing statement, so that people put the wrong thing down.
Got it. Okay. I think I found something. I'll send it to you, Sybil. But yeah, it was very interesting.
Okay. Let's move to something a little bit lighter. The end of an era is upon us as Wheel of Fortune fans everywhere gear up to say goodbye to the long time TV game show host Pat Sajak. His final appearance on the show is set to run June 7th.
Oh, it's happening now. I thought this was the last year. Okay, I thought he had. I thought he got another year.
Well, he did. He did.
This was that year. Yeah. This was that year. Okay.
Yep. Sajak in 2023 announced his plans to retire after his 41st season, and he says it's been a wonderful ride. I'll have more to say in the coming months. Well, and he's had his goodbye tour, and I guess the week leading up to it will be a bunch of farewell shows. Vanna ain't going nowhere.
Come get these checks, Vanna.
And she got a raise finally. She hadn't had a raise since she started.
Well, she certainly makes a pretty penny. She works like double figure millions for that show.
Yeah.
So I don't know what her raise she was looking for to go, and she don't even have to turn the letters no more. It's automated.
No,
she just goes tap.
Just dings.
I really thought they were grooming his daughter to replace Vanna.
That's
because they were even giving out her Instagram at the end of shows and everything now.
Yep. So was it Vanna, or were they grooming her to take her dad's place, or was
regardless?
Yeah. Well,
they haven't mentioned his replacement.
Right. Yeah. Ryan Seacrest, the man who has had every damn job in the business.
That's weird to me. That's weird. I guess
lazy.
I'm like, there's other people out here.
Ryan Seacrest is going to succeed Pat Sajak as the host of Wheel of Fortune.
Wow.
I mean, do I think he's a great host? Yeah, he's a great host. But I honestly believe that what's happening now is that because they're paying these guys so much money, that they're like, look, we're going to stretch this over. You're like, no, you're not getting another check for this. You're going to get a little bump. But you're not, but you're paying you so much for American Idol. Guess what we're going to do? You're gonna host Wheel of Fortune as well. You know what I'm saying? That's
American
how I look at
Idol
it.
And your TV show. You gave up the show with Kelly, so you got this now. And
he took over radio from Casey Kasem.
Yep.
Yep.
So clearly, his agent is very intimate with Satan. But I mean, intimate.
You saying the devil getting it however he wanted.
Yeah.
Mr.
He was like, all right, you want to give Ryan that job? You know what you got to do. Seacrest out.
Well, no telling how many other shows that he will come and succeed in, but it just seems lazy. I mean, he has a great track record. He's got New Year's Eve all the way, through one end of the year to the next.
Yeah.
But it just seems like and maybe the Alex Trebek thing taught them a lesson, because you just can't have just anybody take the place of a major figure like that. They fathered that
cultural staple.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. How hard is it to do that job?
That's the thing.
I don't think it's that tough.
It's not about the difficulty. It's about
the persona, the person.
Captivating the hearts of American families as they come home from work and sit down with their families and watch Wheel of Fortune. And you want to. That's what it's about. You can't have anybody do that.
But you know who's cussing about Ryan getting another job? That first original co-host of American Idol that quit.
Who quit after the first season.
Because he thought that show was going nowhere.
Right.
God. Dumbledore. What's his last
Yeah,
name?
yeah, it's like Dunkelman or something like that.
Dunkelman?
Dumbledore, yeah.
His
His name is DoorDash driver number 6.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, real quick, Sybil, I know you have to Yogi's word, but this is to Lynn, who left a comment right as we started. No, it's not my fault that Red Lobster went into bankruptcy. Okay? It's not my fault. Just want to let you know that it's not my fault that I took advantage of a situation that they gave to me. Okay? Endless shrimp is what it is, and I took advantage of it.
He said you were a line item.
That's what I heard. I saw the spreadsheets. Are you all in the red? And then
it was like food cost, and labor cost, customer number 7. They couldn't put your name in.
Seafood lover in him.
Yeah. The all you can eat. I knew they were in trouble. I was gonna take advantage of it. If you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna take it.
Well, you brought a fine industry to its
knees, baby.
Hey, R.I.P. man. The end of the world.
So try to do something nice for somebody and get back in their good graces. Let's close out with Yogi's. What'd you say, Cameron?
I said the cheddar biscuits.
Cheddar Bay biscuits, baby.
They're gone.
Well, for some, they're still going to do business.
The one by my house ain't going nowhere. I've done too much to support them. They're still there.
That's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yogi's Jewel today. Positive energy can help you handle stress, promoting better mental and emotional health. And do something about the emotional health of all those people that are losing their jobs at Red Lobster, won't you?
Yes.
Aww.
Bring her in.
Look who just came home.
Hey.
Hi, girl. Oh my God.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh. You good?
Oh, Damon.
Tell her how old you are. She's 2.
Wow.
And she speaks in full sentences unless you put her on the spot.
And then she got nothing to say.
Nothing.
How was school?
Hi, girl.
She's saying hello to you. Speak. You can say hello. Say hi, Sybil. Okay, bye, Sybil.
That's okay. We all have those in our lives.
I don't know what you're saying right now.
Okay, guys. We will see. Are you Fly Pop?
No, I'm Pop.
Pop.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right. I don't know what they last
Night.
night.